Hello, and thank you for joining me on yet another podcast. My name is Nyawira Murithi, and today I would like us to talk about worship. And when I say worship, actually, I would like us to actually figure out together what is worship. I have actually done this topic because I normally see Christians think that worship is being a worship minister, singing, like kina Angela Chibalonza, kina Masimasika, kina, these people who sing kina Hillsong, kina Sinach. That is worship. I don't think worship is just singing. And we actually go with the definition of worship and what worship is. It means reverence to a deity. And a deity, in this case, is a supreme being. And for us as Christians, a deity is our God, Yahweh, Jehovah. We're not just Christians, we also have Muslims, and their God, their deity God is Allah. When we go to Hindus, they also have Kina Lord Shiva and all the others. Precisely where you're going to find, they're going to is it DY or something, when they have these celebrations and these holidays of theirs, they're going to put some things like in a plate or in a tray, and they're going to go put it chini ya hapo penye kuna hiyo god penye unafaa kupeana sacrifice. We still see the same practice, especially with Catholics in Christianity. Time ya sadaka and all that. So I'm not a Catholic myself, but most of my family, like 90%, actually 99%, they're Catholics. And I also have friends who are Catholics too. And I have attended their events, their weddings, events like funerals, graduations, and all that. And I have seen during the offering time, they normally put things kwa tray. Wanaenda wanazitoa ka sadaka. It's not just the pesa itself ile ya kuzungushwa, ama for Catholics actually wanaenda huko mbele, wanaenda wanatoa. Most of the Catholics zenye nimeenda, and of course kuna churches zingine bado wanazungusha hiyo chondo ama whatever it is that they have decided watu wataweka do. And of course vitu ni digital nowadays, watu wanatuma hata kwa paybill, M-Pesa, direct to the account and all that, and there are so many ways people can give. But in this case, we are talking about worship. So nimedivert kidogo, but then I'm trying to bring that aspect. So now you see, for Catholics now, more or less like the same na ile ya Hindu, after hiyo sadaka and all that, we normally see, especially let's say kanika kwa event, unapata watu mnapanga kani, let's say nyinyi kama family, because of Thanksgiving and all that, mnapanga vitu, let's say cabbage, pineapples, matunda, pesa, a lot of things, mnaziweka kwa trays, alafu mnaenda mnazipeana huko mbele. So we can actually say that is more of like a replica of what happens with the Hindus. And I believe most of the people who are exposed to digital platforms where you can watch those movies, kina Netflix, YouTube, Vimeo, so many sites, and apart from even sites, the TV stations, the satellite TV stations and all that, we've had programs. Even there was this one that was so famous in Inoro TV, Kumkumbagia. Yeah? And not even just Kumkumbagia, there was another one that was so famous. It's like almost everyone watched it. It was in KTN, Shri. So now, you would see wanabeba hizo vitu zao na tray, alafu probably there's that kamfanano ya God and all that. So that's like a representation of God. The same way kuna kwanga, let's say kani kwa Catholics, ile msalaba kubwa and then mnaeka Jesus. Basically that doesn't mean ati sasa hiyo ni idol. It's just a representation of whatever happened that time. So for them, they have this representation of how their God looks like, and then wana create, then wanaenda. So for them it's like wanaenda kuofa hapo kwa hizo God. So for them, that is part of worship. Even giving is part of worship, because basically you're just giving. Like for us Christians, we read our book, and it says, try me, you see if I will not open the gates, So we have tithe, we have sadaka and all that, and of course the ones I say, these are Catholics that could give. It's not even just Catholics, even in Protestant. I would say in church, after church watu walikuwa naletanga kama ni fast fruit, and then probably your fast fruit ni mahindi, chicken, kuku, that is, eggs, plants, so many things watu walikuwa naleta alafu zinauzwa. So that is still part of giving. In giving we can say it's part of worship. And of course singing is also another part of worship. But now I don't like people saying like ati worship is worship music. It's because you can actually sing and evoke emotions in you, because it's actually evoking some emotions in you. So unaimba unalia because ina evoke hiyo nini, but are you really worshiping God inside? Do you really mean those words? Are you saying that God is holy and you really mean that? Ama you just ni ile tu because watu wana lead uko mbele wanainua mkono and all that, and then you're just doing that. My opinion is worship is more than just worship music. So when you look at Sinach and you think she's a worshipper, she is a worshipper, but you're also a worshipper in your own right. When you're giving out your stuff, you're worshiping. You're worshiping because you believe in God for his word. You're believing whatever you've been taught about that God, and you're actually giving out. There's so many ways of worship. Actually, they even say even sex is worship. Precisely why in some African cultures and even ancient civilizations, we have the fertility god. Why do we have that fertility god? So even sex is worship. But now I don't mean that now that you're married alafu saa mnaenda sasa badala ya kwenda kumake out na unajua like we don't have to kutenderia detours, mnaenda saa likashaka kano, but that is also worship. Actually I had another preacher saying, I agreed totally. Basically he would actually say even when you're preparing things in your home, that is worship, because you see these are your kids, they really trust in you, they really believe in you, and you're just doing that. How with what kind of intentions are you doing it? Yeah, and you're raising these children who are really looking up on you and all that. So that is worship. And basically, as they say, worship is not just singing, worship is a lifestyle. So I do have a problem with people who actually think that worship is just singing. Worship is not just singing. You can actually even worship God with the way you work. There are people who don't worship, who are not members of praise and worship team, but from the way they do their work and from the way they carry themselves, people can actually know that this is someone who really fears God. So we will agree. And actually this is totally my opinion, and I am so grounded on it. Worship is not just music, but well, if you're singing, well and good. But now, for the music, I don't think worship is trying to encourage yourself. Like, it doesn't matter what you're going through. That is self-encouraging. God is there with you. That is not worship. That is singing. I would say worship basically, like for worship music, I would say worship music specifically is the music that is actually glorifying the sovereignty of God and who God is. So God, you're holy. God, the creator of heaven and universe. We acknowledge of your greatness. You're the one that created the universe. You're a great God. You're a mighty God. You're a warrior. We thank you because you're always there with us. Because I also see people think the fact that you're singing these slow songs, and I want to call them slow songs because we've actually agreed that it is not worship, but then it can also be worship depending with however you sing, because slow song doesn't translate to a worship music. Okay, some can just be for encouraging yourself. So I believe this is a broad topic, and it's not just for Christian. Again, like then I said, even for those Hindus when they're offering those things in their trays and all that, that is part of their worship. Okay, how you carry yourself as someone who fears God, that is worship. How you interact with other people as a human being, and not just a human being, but a person who knows God and what God says, that is worship. Okay, Thank you very much. I think we're going to talk more on the same. Have a good one.